raised from the ground. It's real over here.
So you don't keep that, you heard me?
Know what I'm saying? The 4-4. We got choppers inside the ship, but we can't bring them out because all the kids in this early lodge.
Between 1993 and 2004, the Calliope projects in New Orleans wasn't just any neighborhood. It was known for being the bloodiest street in the country. Crime rate was at its all-time high, and its grim reputation earned New Orleans the scary nickname, Murder Capital of the United States. Most individuals fell below the average, and their desperation for money led them to do just about anything. Growing up there meant dealing with crime, even in small ways. But strangely enough, this tough neighborhood also produced some of the best hip-hop artists. One of them was Corey Miller, or as you might know him, C Murder. His story is wrapped up in the tough street life. Surviving in Calliope wasn't a solo act. Corey, along with his brothers Percy and Vishon Miller, got deep into the street life. For Corey, however, it wasn't just about staying afloat. It became a part of his life so tight that leaving felt impossible even though he had the chance. But we'll get to that in a bit. In the mid-90s, when Master P's No Limit Records was blowing up, C Murder and his younger brother Silk the Shocker got pulled into the music scene. Funny thing is, they weren't even thinking about rapping at first. But life took a turn, and they ended up signing with their older brother's record label. After they teamed up, they created True, the Real Untouchables group. Following a couple of local hits, Corey gained serious attention with his 1998 album, Life or Death. It became a massive hit, going multi-platinum, propelling him to mainstream success. Building on the success he got into acting, featuring in No Limit films, The Game of Life, and I Got the Hookup, all in the same year. He would also go on to feature on another movie, Hot Boys, in the year 2000, after release of another impressive album, Bossolini, the year before. It featured guests like Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, Silk, and Daz Dillinger. At this point, pretty much everything he touched turned gold. So he topped his Hot Boys film success with his third studio album, Trapped in Crime, in 2000. I'll talk about this album later on, but this album is pretty wild to me. Everything from its name to its album cover. It's almost as if he saw his own story unfolding. One of his most famous songs, even to this day, came from this album. The catchy hook from that track was later used by none other than Kanye West, years down the line. Fast forward to 2001, C Murder would drop his last album with No Limit Records, and also as a free man. The album did fairly decent numbers, but it was just one for the road, as by this time, C Murder was already mainstream successful. C was at the top of the game, money, cars, houses, living the dream. But all that would soon come crashing down. When you rise to the top and have a chance to leave your old life behind, especially if you come from the streets, you're supposed to move on. Even with guidance from his brothers who went on to become successful artists, C couldn't distance himself from the hood. At this point, C still considered the hood his home, no matter how tough it got. He didn't want to leave his best friends behind. Turning his back on them would feel like betrayal. He stayed true to his roots, but this loyalty ended up being the main thing that caused his downfall in the end. In an interview, his brother Master P shared that, even at the peak of his career, when C Murder had mansions and cars worth millions, he would still go back to the hood just to chill. He even bought an apartment there for himself and his friends to hang out. As crime rates soared, C would end up getting into more and more trouble.
One of the benefits of living in a project is then hurricane time, you ain't got a trip because them bricks ain't going nowhere, you heard? Being in the hood more than I be anyway, you know, still trying to do what I gotta do. So why not have my own spot there still, you heard? It's 2-bedroom, 2 stories, 3rd floor Calio style.
In late 2001, C Murder found himself in serious trouble, facing charges of aggravated burglary and aggravated assault with a firearm. Even though these are serious charges, he couldn't have anticipated the even more serious problems that awaited him. The real issues began on August 15, 2001, when C and his crew visited Club Rags in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shortly after their arrival, a security guard asked to search him, but C refused to be searched. Following this, The club owner came to the front and told C that he couldn't let him go in with a gun. Things got intense really quick. C and the club owner exchanged some words, and out of nowhere, C pulled out his gun and started shooting at the club owner and the bouncer who wanted to check him. Luckily, after one shot, his gun jammed and no one got seriously hurt. It was all caught on tape, making it a crazy and scary moment that took everyone by surprise. A couple of days later, C would turn himself in and would go on to be released on bond. You could say he got lucky, but all his luck would soon run out. By all accounts, Steve Thomas, the victim of the murder, was a typical kid of his age. He loved to hang out with his friends, decorated his bedroom, and would blast hip-hop from his speakers whenever he got the chance. There was nothing that pointed towards Steve being obsessive or stalker-ish, but he was a fan of C-Murder. Therefore, when Steve discovered that C-Murder was performing a show near him, the underage teen borrowed his older friend's ID card and headed to the Platinum Club in Harvey, Louisiana. Little did Steve know at the time that this would be his last day alive. The details of what followed are a bit murky, but Steve somehow ended up close to C-Murder. Then, the rapper's entourage of at least 15 people jumped on the teenager to get him away, resulting in a harrowing fight. Eventually, a gunshot rang out. Everybody started to make a run for the exit, including C and his crew. When the floor cleared up, Steve's lifeless body was found lying there, having been shot through the heart. It was reported that C-Murder himself was involved in the fight and had shouted, "Do you know who the fuck I am?" just as the bullet was fired. As if this wasn't enough. Just 6 days later, C-Murder would face an arrest and charges for causing yet another disturbance at a club. Subsequently, he found himself facing additional charges related to the untimely death of Steve Thomas, supported by a witness statement. The authorities made reference to his first club shooting, and thus, on February 28, 2002, C-Murder was indicted on the charges of murder. In 2003, the rapper was convicted of Steve's slaying. However, once new evidence about the credibility of witnesses came out, C-Murder ended up being allowed a retrial. He was subsequently placed under house arrest, where, in 2009, he pleaded no contest to 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder in connection to the Baton Rouge case. He was thus sentenced to 10 years, with credit for time already served. Following that, in August 2009, after various testimonies in a messy retrial, a jury convicted C-Murder of Steve's killing once again, giving him a life sentence without parole. Even though C has been found guilty of the charges against him, his case has been fraught with controversy. Not only have there been multiple accusations against witnesses for having lied to the jury on the stands, but a juror has also come forward to admit that she felt bullied by the authorities to hand down the guilty verdict against her judgment. Along with that, a witness even recanted his testimony in 2018. Yet in saying all this, C-Murder's conviction has always upheld. C-Murder is currently incarcerated at the Elaine Hunt Correctional Center, where he will probably remain for the rest of his natural life if he can't prove his innocence, which he maintains to this day. He also continues to release music from behind bars, with his latest record being the January 2021 Don't Wanna Trap No More. Worth mentioning that celebrities also have come to his defense over the years. Kim Kardashian has been advocating for C-Murder's release for quite some time now, reinforcing that there seems to be no physical evidence against him. In conclusion, C-Murder's career in the hip-hop industry has been marked by both musical success and legal controversies, notably his conviction for second-degree murder. The circumstances surrounding his case continue to raise questions and discussions even about our legal system. Do share your thoughts on C-Murder's situation. Do you believe the legal proceedings were fair? What are your opinions on the controversies surrounding his case? Leave your comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video informative. Also, if you enjoyed that video, I recommend you watch Big Lurch Story, who is allegedly hip-hop's first cannibal.